You ever notice how the government says we're collecting taxes like they're politely passing a donation jar at church? Collecting? No, buddy, you're taking. You don't collect my paycheck, you ambush it. I open my pay slip and suddenly I'm in a crime scene. Gross income, net income, and somewhere in between the government mugged me with a calculator. They call it tax season, like it's a sport. Yeah, apparently I'm the deer. And the IRS, they're the hunters in camouflage, hiding behind forms labeled 1040, which sounds like a prison cell number. And let's talk about where the money goes, huh? They say it's for public services. Oh, really? Then why are the roads still shaped like lunar craters and the schools using maps where the Soviet Union still exists? They tax your income, then your property, then your car, then your gas. And when you die, they tax your coffin too. Even in heaven, St. Peter's probably standing there with a clipboard saying, sir, before you enter, we need your death tax form. They call it contributing to society. You know what I call it? Legal robbery with paperwork. And you don't even get a gun pointed at you, just a letter from the IRS that says, "Dear citizen, we notice you still have money left. Let's fix that." And don't even start about tax refunds. People get excited like it's a gift from the government. Newsflash, that's your money. You're celebrating because they gave you back your own wallet. It's like your robber sending you a thank you card saying, "Hey, man, I only stole half your stuff this year. Great teamwork." And have you seen those politicians talking about tax reform? That's just code for we're going to find new things to tax. They tax your work, they tax your play, and if you breathe long enough, they'll start taxing oxygen by the inhale. But the best part, the rich have loopholes, the poor have hope, and the middle class, they have receipts, thousands of them in a shoebox labeled someday. I'll figure this out. You see, it's not about funding the country. It's about control. The government doesn't want you independent. They want you just comfortable enough to not riot and just broke enough to keep paying. So yeah, I say it plain, taxes aren't just theft. They're legalized robbery in progress, and the worst part, you're the one handing over your wallet saying, "Thank you, officer. Please take a little extra for roads that don't exist." Taxation is the world's most polite robbery. Think about that for a second. In any other situation, when someone takes your money without your full consent, you'd call the police. But when the government does it, it's called civic duty. It's genius, really. The perfect crime dressed in a suit and tie, carried out in broad daylight, with paperwork so confusing you almost feel guilty for questioning it. That's how smooth it is. They've convinced us to be proud of being robbed, to smile while signing checks that vanish faster than your motivation on a Monday morning. They've made it polite. It's not theft, it's contribution. It's not robbery, it's tax season. It's not extortion, it's financial responsibility. The language is so gentle that people actually look forward to it. They make it sound like a yearly festival. There are commercials, reminders, and even apps that cheer you on for paying your dues. No one cheers when a pickpocket takes your wallet, but when the IRS does it, the news calls it progress. That's the magic trick. They've managed to take the sting out of the steel by giving it manners. It's like being mugged by someone who says, "Excuse me, sir, may I relieve you of a third of your income today? Wonderful, thank you for your service." And the process, oh, it's beautifully bureaucratic. You work hard all year, and then you get to fill out forms to prove how much of your life they're allowed to claim. It's not enough to hand them the money. No, you have to help them figure out how much to take. They make you do the math, make you feel responsible, and if you mess it up, guess what? That's another fine. Imagine a robber yelling at you for miscounting your own cash during the stick-up. "Sorry, pal, you owe me another 20, and there's a penalty for slow counting." But the true elegance of this polite robbery is how they justify it. They tell you it's for your own good. Roads, schools, hospitals, all the things that sound noble enough to make you forget that you've been cornered. It's emotional blackmail in financial form. If you complain, they make you feel unpatriotic. Don't you care about the children? Don't you care about education? Of course you do. But it's funny how every year the taxes go up and the schools still have textbooks from the Cold War. You pay for roads filled with potholes that could swallow small cars. You pay for hospitals that charge you again the moment you walk in. You pay for security, yet you lock your doors tighter every night. And if you dare to ask where all the money went, they show you a spreadsheet, billions in expenses, all neatly labeled, and not a single item makes sense. Oh, that 10 million, that was for miscellaneous defense research. Translation, someone's nephew got a new yacht. The politeness extends to how they treat you through it. They don't just take, they thank you for letting them. Every year they send you reminders with friendly language, important notice, taxpayer information, contribution summary. The words sound helpful, but every envelope carries the same message: we notice you still have money. Let's fix that. And if you don't cooperate, suddenly the politeness fades. They go from gentle to gangster real quick. One missed payment, and the letters stop saying "Dear Citizen" and start saying "Final warning." They'll freeze your account, garnish your wages, and take your property, all legally, all politely. You don't get a warning shot, just a notice of intent to levy. Funny part is how people defend it. Well, it's for the greater good, they say, and maybe it is, but it's the kind of good that always seems to benefit someone else a little more than you. The politicians talk about tax cuts for the working class, and somehow, every time, it's the billionaires celebrating with champagne while the working guy gets a coupon for free coffee. They make speeches about fair distribution, but the fairness always tilts toward whoever can afford a lawyer with a yacht. You see, the politeness isn't for you. It's for them. It's their disguise. It's how they keep the machine running without riots in the streets. They make the robbery sound like a privilege. You're not a victim. You're a participant. You're doing your duty, being a good citizen, helping society, and you believe it because the system rewards obedience with illusion, a sense of pride and compliance. They've turned submission into virtue. You're not being robbed, you're helping. That's how polite it is. They've convinced you to thank the thief. And just when you think maybe it's not so bad, they give you a little treat. The tax refund. Oh, the refund. The great illusion of generosity. People act like they've won the lottery, celebrating their free money. But let's be real. It's your own cash being returned late and without interest. It's like if a burglar returned your TV and you hugged him for being honest. The government takes your money, uses it all year, invests it, profits from it, and then hands a tiny bit back and says, "See, we care." And people cheer. That's not generosity. That's a magician showing you one hand while picking your pocket with the other. What's wild is how universal it is. Every country does it. Every citizen endures it. You can't escape it, no matter how polite or democratic your government is. Some take a little, some take a lot, but they all take. They call it revenue. The word sounds clean, professional, like it belongs in a suit and tie. Robbery sounds dirty, criminal, but change the label and suddenly it's respectable. That's what politeness does. It cleans up the crime scene. And the best part, it's all automated now. You don't even have to be physically robbed anymore. Direct deposit, automatic deduction. The robbery happens before you even touch your paycheck. You never see the money, never hold it, never even feel the loss. It's just numbers disappearing on a screen. The perfect polite crime, no confrontation, no noise, just quiet compliance. You can't even get mad at a system that steals so smoothly. But here's the punchline. They've made us believe this is how civilization works. They've convinced us that order requires surrender, that progress demands payment, that freedom isn't free, and they make sure to charge you for it monthly. It's the politest robbery in history because it doesn't use fear, it uses routine. It's not about violence, it's about normalization. They've made theft a habit and courtesy the disguise. So yeah, taxation is the world's most polite robbery. It doesn't need a mask, a weapon, or a dark alley. It happens in offices with fluorescent lights and polite smiles. It comes with receipts, signatures, and thank you notes. It's the kind of crime that doesn't make you scream. It makes you clap. And that's what makes it brilliant. The system's designed to keep you paying, not progressing. That's the truth nobody wants to admit. The entire structure of taxation, credit, loans, and wages isn't built to set you free. It's built to keep you in motion, just enough to survive, but never enough to escape. It's like running on a treadmill that keeps adjusting its speed every time you start catching your breath. You think you're getting somewhere, but the scenery never changes. And every time you look down, you realize someone else is controlling the speed, someone who's never had to run it themselves. From the moment you get your first paycheck, you're introduced to the system's favorite game, earn and return. You work, they take. You save, they tax. You invest, they regulate. You die, they tax that too. There's no finish line. The system isn't meant to be won, it's meant to be maintained. It's like a casino. The house always wins, and the odds are written in invisible ink. They give you just enough reward to keep you hopeful, but not enough freedom to stop playing. You're too busy chasing the next paycheck to question the rules of the game. You see, the real brilliance of the system is that it's self-sustaining. You don't need guards with guns, you just need bills with deadlines. You don't need chains, you just need loans. You don't need fear, you just need debt. The system has evolved past physical control. It runs on psychological obedience. They've replaced whips with interest rates, shackles with paperwork, and prisons with payment plans. You think you're free because you can buy things, but every purchase is another thread in the web. You own nothing completely, not your car, not your house, not even your time. Everything you own is on lease from the system. Miss one payment and you'll learn who really owns what. They call it financial structure, but it's really a financial trap. The rules are made by people who benefit the most from them. You work 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, and the reward is a percentage of your own effort returned with deductions. Then, when you try to get ahead, start a business, invest, create something, they drown you in paperwork and taxes. They say we're encouraging entrepreneurship while building walls around the ladder you're trying to climb. They let you see the top but never touch it. And let's talk about education, the so-called gateway to progress. They tell you to study hard, get a degree, and you'll live well. But what they don't tell you is that education is another subscription service. You start your adult life not with a foundation, but with debt. You haven't even started earning, and already you owe. They train you to be a worker, not a thinker. They teach compliance, not curiosity. They don't teach you how money works. That's not in the syllabus, because understanding the system is the first step to escaping it, and they can't afford that. Then there's the illusion of promotion. The system gives you titles, raises, small perks, just enough to make you feel progress. You climb from junior to senior, your salary rises a bit, but so do your taxes, your rent, your expenses. It's a perfect cycle. Every step forward is matched by another deduction, another obligation. You don't notice the trap because it looks like success. They give you labels that sound like advancement, but you're still standing in the same place, just with a nicer business card and a fancier job title. Look around and you'll see the proof everywhere. People spend their lives chasing freedom, but never catching it. They're trapped in mortgages, insurance plans, car payments, and endless subscriptions. The system sells convenience and comfort as progress, but it's really dependency disguised as luxury. Every innovation that's supposed to make life easier just ties you tighter. Digital banking, automatic billing, one-click shopping. They've made it so easy to give your money away that you don't even feel it leave anymore. And the most dangerous part is how they make you blame yourself. When you struggle, when you fall behind, the system says it's your fault. You should have worked harder, saved more, managed better. They make you feel guilty for playing a game you never designed. Meanwhile, the people at the top don't play at all. They own the board. They write the tax codes, adjust the interest rates, and move money in ways you can't even track. You're playing checkers while they're moving chess pieces made of gold. The truth is, the system doesn't need you to fail completely. It just needs you to keep trying. It needs you productive but powerless. Tired enough to obey but hopeful enough to keep going. That's why they reward just enough to keep you quiet. A small raise here, a tax refund there. Little crumbs of encouragement to make you believe progress is possible. But real progress, real independence, that's what they fear. Because if too many people break free, the machine stops running. You see, they've designed it to make stability look like success. As long as you're stable, predictable, paying on time, you're perfect. The ideal citizen isn't rich or free. They're responsible, manageable, dependable. Someone who believes in the rules, trusts the system, and never looks too close at the fine print. They want you in that middle zone. Not desperate enough to revolt, not wealthy enough to resist. Even when you think you're winning, they adjust the rules. You save up money, they raise the prices. You invest, they tax your gains. You buy a house, they hit you with property taxes. Inflation, interest, deductions. Every tool is another way to keep you moving without arriving. It's not chaos, it's choreography. Every financial stress you face is designed to keep your focus downward, on survival, not questioning. The system has mastered the art of distraction. It keeps you busy chasing possessions so you never chase power. It feeds you media that glorifies wealth but hides how it's made. It turns ambition into consumption. Instead of asking, how can I create? You start asking, what can I buy next? They've made ownership the new religion and taxes the tithe. You pay, you pray, and you hope the system blesses you with a little more next year. And the irony? Even the rich are taxed, but differently. They don't pay. They strategize. They don't get taxed on income because they don't live on income. They live on assets, investments, loopholes, tools the system hides from the average person. You see, the system doesn't punish wealth. It punishes labor. The harder you work, the more they take. The richer you get, the more they let you keep. Because the goal isn't equality, it's hierarchy. That's why no matter how much the common worker contributes, they always feel like they're one step behind. It's not bad luck, it's design. The system rewards obedience and punishes awareness. Once you start asking questions about where your taxes go, why prices rise, why laws favor the powerful, you're labeled cynical or ungrateful. They want you to stay polite, optimistic, predictable, because awareness is the first crack in the wall, and they can't have that. So yes, the system's designed to keep you paying, not progressing. Every dollar you earn fuels the same machine that keeps you working. Every tax, every bill, every policy, it's all part of a loop. You are the engine, the labor, the resource. And as long as you keep believing progress is just one more paycheck away, they've got you exactly where they want you. Running, working, paying, forever in motion, never arriving. Tax refunds are not gifts, they're hostage returns. That single line says everything about how cleverly the system manipulates perception. People get their refund check and suddenly act like they just won a prize. They're out celebrating, buying things they couldn't afford last month, posting online about how generous the government is. But step back and think about it. How can someone give you a gift made from your own money? You've been lending your hard-earned income, interest-free, to the same people who already take a piece of every paycheck. Then, when they return a fraction of it, you thank them for being so kind. It's psychological genius. They've managed to make robbery feel like charity. The truth is, your tax refund isn't a reward. It's a reimbursement. You overpaid throughout the year because the system's designed that way. The government took more than it was owed, used your money for 12 months, and then returned it after they were done earning interest on it. It's not a bonus. It's the return of your own property. Imagine someone borrowing your car all year, using it every day, and then showing up at your door saying, "Here, I got it washed for you." You wouldn't thank them. You'd be furious they had it for so long. But with taxes, people are too busy being grateful to notice they've been played. The psychology behind the refund is fascinating. The word itself, refund, sounds positive, like you're getting something extra. It's carefully chosen to trigger a sense of gain. Nobody calls it what it is, an adjustment, because adjustment reminds you that something was wrong to begin with. So instead, they frame it as a financial treat, a moment of joy after months of deduction. They've turned overpayment into an event, complete with news coverage, advertisements, and entire industries built around refund season. People plan vacations around it. Businesses launch tax refund sales. The economy even spikes because citizens spend their own. Return money like it's a miracle from heaven. It's not just about the money, it's about control. The system doesn't just want your labor, it wants your mindset. If you start viewing your refund as generosity, you stop questioning where the rest of your money went. You feel seen, acknowledged, rewarded. That little return creates the illusion of partnership, like you and the government are on the same team. It's the ultimate manipulation. They overcharge, hold your funds, and then send back a small portion just to make you feel included in the process. It's not justice, it's pacification. And the way people talk about it makes the irony even sharper. I can't wait for my refund this year, they say, as if it's a bonus for good behavior. You worked, you paid, and now you're waiting for permission to have a piece of your own earnings back. That's not financial freedom, that's conditioning. They've trained you to celebrate your own exploitation. The refund is a psychological pressure valve. It keeps people calm, satisfied, and distracted from asking the real question, why did they take too much in the first place? If the system were truly fair, refunds wouldn't exist. Your taxes would be precise, neither overpaid nor underpaid. But precision isn't profitable. Overpayment gives them cash flow, stability, and the power to decide when and how you get your money back. They're using your funds as an interest-free loan to run the very machinery that keeps you under control. Every refund is proof that they've been holding on to billions that never belonged to them. And the timing of those returns is no accident. They give it back just in time for people to spend it, stimulating the same economy that benefits them. It's a cycle that keeps both the illusion of generosity and the flow of money intact. Think about how upside down that is. In any other situation, if someone withheld your money all year and then returned a portion, you'd demand compensation. You'd expect interest. You'd want an apology. But here, you're grateful. That's how deep the social engineering runs. It's not about logic, it's about emotion. They know most people live paycheck to paycheck, so when that refund lands in their account, it feels like relief, not justice. It feels like a reward for surviving another year in a system designed to drain you. There's another level to this too, the illusion of control. You're encouraged to adjust your withholdings, file early, claim dependents, as if you're the one making decisions. It gives you the illusion of financial intelligence while keeping you inside the maze. The refund becomes a way to measure how well you played the game. Too small? You didn't plan well. Too big? You overpaid. Either way, the system wins. It's a rigged casino where the dealer smiles and thanks you for playing, and you leave thinking you made a smart move because you walked away with chips that were already yours. The refund also feeds into the culture of instant gratification. People don't use it to build wealth, they use it to spend. Vacations, new phones, new clothes, temporary pleasures that vanish before the next tax cycle. The system counts on that. It needs you to spend so the economy keeps turning. Your emotional high from the refund becomes fuel for their larger machine. They know if you feel rewarded, you won't revolt. You'll return next year ready to play again. And when someone finally questions it, the defenders of the system appear. Well, I like getting a refund. It's like forced savings. That's one of the most tragic statements of all. You shouldn't need a government to save your money for you by overcharging you. That's not discipline. That's dependence. You could have invested that money, saved it yourself, earned interest, built something. But instead you let someone else use it because they've convinced you that you can't be trusted with your own finances. That's the real crime, not the taking, but the conditioning that makes you accept it. Even the process of getting your refund back is designed to feel like a favor. You have to file, submit documents, prove your worthiness. You don't just get it automatically. You have to ask for it formally, humbly. You're not claiming your right. You're requesting a return. It's like being forced to beg the thief to give back what he stole. And when he finally does, you shake his hand in gratitude. They flip the entire emotional script. The irony is that the same people who design the system, the ones with accountants and tax shelters, don't experience refunds at all. They don't overpay. They don't let the system hold their money for free. They invest, defer, and manipulate timing to their advantage. Refunds are for the masses, the workers, the employees, the middle class. It's not a financial instrument, it's a pacifier. It keeps people obedient, hopeful, and dependent. That's why refund season feels like a holiday, because in a system that constantly takes, even getting a little back feels like a victory. People throw celebrations for crumbs while the loaf sits untouched in the hands of those who wrote the tax code. And the system smiles because the illusion is working perfectly. Nobody's angry. Nobody's asking where the rest went. They're too busy buying a new TV with their bonus. So no, a tax refund isn't a gift. It's a delayed return of what was already yours. It's the system patting you on the back after spending your money for a year. It's the hostage being handed back to you, a little bruised, a little late, and you're so relieved you forget who took them in the first place. It's financial Stockholm syndrome. You start to love the captor because the moments of mercy feel like kindness. And as long as people keep mistaking refunds for generosity, the cycle will never end. The system doesn't need gratitude, it needs ignorance. And the refund is the perfect disguise for both. The poor dream, the rich deduct, and the middle class document. That's the entire story of modern economics wrapped into one brutally honest sentence. It captures the hierarchy, not just of money, but of mindset, how each group has been conditioned to interact with wealth. The poor are kept dreaming because dreams cost nothing. The rich are busy deducting because they've learned how to make the system pay them. And the middle class, the great balancing act of society, are trapped documenting, recording, organizing every receipt, trying to survive a system that was never designed for them to win. It's not about effort, it's about education. Not the kind they teach in schools, but the kind that determines who controls and who complies. The poor dream because that's all they're told to do. From childhood, they're fed stories of hard work leading to success. Work hard, stay honest, and one day you'll make it. But the system doesn't reward hard work, it rewards strategy. It doesn't pay for sweat, it pays for structure. The poor work the hardest. Long hours, multiple jobs, physical exhaustion, yet they stay in the same place because they've been trained to chase hope, not ownership. Their dreams are the fuel that keeps the engine running. They dream of winning the lottery, of sudden miracles, of opportunities that never seem to arrive. And while they're busy dreaming, others are busy designing the system that keeps those dreams unreachable. The rich, on the other hand, don't dream. They deduct. They understand that money isn't just earned, it's managed. They know the language of the system. Tax codes, loopholes, depreciation, investment shelters, they don't see money as a reward, they see it as a tool. While the poor dream of buying cars, the rich write them off as business expenses. While the poor save for houses, the rich use properties to reduce taxable income. The game isn't about what you make, it's about what you keep. And the rich have mastered the art of keeping. They don't break the law, they bend it until it bows. They don't evade taxes, they avoid them, legally, elegantly, through structures built for people who can afford to understand them. The middle class sits in the strangest position of all. They're the record keepers of the system. They're the ones who document everything, filing receipts, organizing spreadsheets, keeping tax folders, neatly labeled 2024 returns. They play by the rules because they've been told following the rules guarantees safety. They track every penny, not realizing that the act of documenting keeps them distracted from creating. They're always preparing, never progressing, forever balancing between wanting security and fearing loss. They have enough to dream, but not enough to act freely. Enough to survive, but not enough to escape. The poor dream because dreaming is free. The middle class documents because documentation is mandatory, and the rich deduct because deduction is power. Each class is given a script to follow. The poor's script is hope, the middle's is order, and the rich's is control. It's an economic food chain, and each group plays its part without even realizing it. The system ensures this separation through information, or rather, the lack of it. Financial literacy is the great divide. The less you know, the more you pay. The more you understand, the less you owe. Look at how taxes play into this. A poor person earns a wage, and taxes are taken before they even see the money. A middle-class person earns a salary, then spends weeks trying to claim deductions for office supplies and fuel. A rich person earns through a corporation, a completely different identity, and decides after the fact how much to declare, how much to defer, and how much to reinvest. The same government that taxes the poor for breathing gives the rich a discount for borrowing. It's not personal, it's structural. The system rewards those who understand its language and punishes those who don't. The poor are told to live within their means. The middle class is told to save for retirement. The rich are told to leverage assets. That's the gap. 3 different realities, 3 different rule books. The poor are trapped in survival, the middle in stability, and the rich in scalability. The poor fear debt, the middle manage debt, and the rich use debt as leverage. To the rich, debt isn't danger, it's opportunity. They borrow to buy, invest, expand, and then deduct the interest as an expense. The same thing that crushes the poor builds the empire of the rich. And here's the cruelest part. The system keeps each group believing they're on the right track. The poor believe one big break will change their lives. The middle believe discipline will eventually lead to comfort. The rich believe control will ensure dominance. And for the most part, they're all right, but only within their lanes. The poor are kept inspired but powerless. The middle are kept organized but overwhelmed. And the rich are kept informed and untouchable. The middle class, in particular, carry the weight of the illusion. They are the gears of the machine, educated enough to manage the system, but not powerful enough to change it. They keep records, pay taxes on time, and even teach their kids to do the same. They are proud of their order, unaware that the very structure they maintain is the cage they live in. The middle class doesn't realize that by documenting everything, they're proving their compliance to a game that doesn't reward honesty. It rewards manipulation. They're too afraid to risk, too tired to rebel, and too proud to admit the system isn't fair. Meanwhile, the poor keep dreaming because that's the only currency left to them. Hope is the cheapest form of control. When you keep people believing in tomorrow, they stop questioning today. Dreaming becomes survival, a way to cope with the slow theft of opportunity. They are told stories of success, the self-made millionaire, the entrepreneur who rose from nothing. But those stories are rare for a reason. They exist to keep the dream alive, to make sure the labor never stops. And above it all, the rich continue deducting, not because they're evil, but because they understand. They've learned that the system doesn't care about fairness, it cares about participation. The rich participate at a strategic level, while everyone else participates at a survival level. They invest in laws, politicians, and lobbyists who make sure the rules stay the same. They built fortresses out of financial language, trusts, write-offs, capital gains, depreciation schedules, and they use those walls to protect their wealth from the same storm everyone else stands under. The tragedy isn't that the system is unfair. It's that most people don't even know it's a system. The poor think life is about luck. The middle think it's about discipline. The rich know it's about structure. Each group is playing a different game, but only one group knows the rules. That's why the poor keep dreaming, the middle keep documenting, and the rich keep deducting, and the cycle repeats. Every tax season you see it clearly. The poor file early, hoping for a refund. The middle file carefully, fearing mistakes. The rich file strategically, planning next year's moves before the ink dries. The same ritual, 3 different meanings. One is about hope, one is about fear, one is about control. And as long as those three forces remain in balance, the machine keeps humming smoothly. So yes, the poor dream, the rich deduct, and the middle class document. Not because it has to be that way, but because it's designed that way. The structure rewards awareness and punishes ignorance. It doesn't care about your effort, your honesty, or your work ethic. It only cares about your understanding. And until more people stop dreaming and start decoding, the hierarchy remains intact. The poor will keep hoping, the middle will keep filing, and the rich will keep writing off the world as an expense. You ever notice how the word legal suddenly makes everything sound fine? You can slap that word in front of anything, and suddenly the crime becomes a policy. That's the trick, man. When a guy in a mask takes your wallet at gunpoint, that's robbery. But when a guy in a suit takes half your paycheck, that's taxation. They just put a fancy label on it, stamp it with a government seal, and boom, suddenly the thief is a public servant. Legal robbery isn't a crime if it's got a government logo on it, because the system doesn't punish itself. It rewards itself for how cleverly it hides the theft. Think about it. Every April, millions of people sit down with calculators, laptops, and piles of papers, spending hours figuring out how much of their own money they owe someone else. And if they get it wrong, they don't get a slap on the wrist. No, they get fined, audited, maybe even jailed. You can go to prison for not giving away your own earnings fast enough. That's how crazy this whole game is. The government doesn't steal your money in the dark. They steal it in broad daylight, print receipts, and call it patriotism. They don't sneak into your house at night. They just send you a letter saying, "We noticed you still have some money left." Mind sharing? They'll tell you it's all for the greater good. Roads, schools, defense, healthcare. But take a look around. The roads look like they've been carpet bombed by meteors. Schools are begging for supplies on social media. And healthcare, good luck getting a checkup without selling a kidney. So where's the money going? It's floating around somewhere between political speeches, luxury jets, and mysterious consulting fees. But hey, it's legal, so it's all fine, right? Legal, moral, ethical. Three words that live on different planets and never seem to meet. You know who really gets it? The people who don't have accountants, the regular folks, the ones who look at their pay stubs and see a third of their income vanish like a magic trick. Except the magician keeps the hat, the rabbit, and the applause. The system is designed so that you never really feel like you own what you earn. You're just renting your money until the government decides how much of it you get to keep. And they call that freedom. You work, you grind, you save, and then, boom, the tax man shows up like a polite burglar who leaves thank you notes. Meanwhile, the rich have an army of lawyers who make their money disappear like smoke. Offshore accounts, shell companies, loopholes. It's a full-time sport. The ultra-wealthy don't pay taxes, they strategize them. And when someone calls them out, they say, it's legal. Of course it's legal. They wrote the laws. The same hands that shake yours during election season are the ones signing the fine print that keeps your pockets light. They built the rules, then sold them as fairness. You think that's a coincidence? That's not democracy. That's a stage show with the lights turned off. And the rest of us, we just go along with it. We've been trained to think it's normal. Every year we file, we pay, we hope for a refund like a bunch of well-behaved citizens waiting for our treat. We celebrate tax refunds like we won the lottery, when really it's just them returning the money they shouldn't have taken in the first place. That's like your kidnapper giving you a sandwich and you saying, wow, what a nice guy. They steal, give back a piece, and you thank them for it. That's not economics. That's psychological conditioning. And it's not just money they take, it's control. Taxes are how the system keeps you compliant. If you don't play along, they shut you down. They freeze your accounts, they garnish your wages, they blacklist your business. You can ignore a criminal, but you can't ignore the government. They've got better lawyers and a bigger army. They don't need to rob banks because they own the vault. Every paycheck you earn, they're there first. You don't even get to hold your full money before they take their cut. You're not getting robbed, you're being preemptively looted legally. It's funny in a tragic kind of way. The government says taxes are your contribution to society, like you had a choice. If I take your money at knife point and tell you it's for the neighborhood watch, that's still robbery, no matter how noble the excuse. But if a politician does it in a suit with a smile and a signature, suddenly it's civic duty. They sell guilt as patriotism and obedience as pride. Pay your taxes, it's your responsibility. Sure. But maybe start by being responsible with the taxes we already paid, huh? The truth is, the system survives because it's dressed up in paperwork and ceremony. The word tax sounds official, like it belongs in a courtroom. But call it what it is, a government cut, a finder's fee for living on their land, breathing their air and daring to earn money. They could tax happiness next, and people would still line up to file. They've already taxed your property, your income, your purchases, your inheritance, even your death. Think about that. You die, and they still send a bill. That's not taxation, that's obsession. And the craziest part, you can't opt out. You can quit a job, cancel a subscription, end a marriage, but you can't quit taxes. It's a lifelong membership to a club you never joined, and the only benefit is you get to keep living inside the borders they own. And if you don't pay, they'll remind you who's really in charge. Not with guns, but with laws. That's the beauty of legal robbery. It doesn't require violence, just fine print and compliance. So yeah, it's legal. But so was segregation, so was slavery. So are half the corporate scams that ruin lives and never face a judge. Legal just means the people in power gave themselves permission. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's fair. It just means the robbery comes with a receipt instead of a mask. The logo makes it respectable. The signature makes it official. The lie makes it believable. You want to fix it? Start calling it what it is. Stop dressing theft in a suit and pretending it's service. Stop letting the same people who wrote the loopholes tell you it's your civic duty to fill the gaps. Because at the end of the day, legal or not, robbery is robbery. Whether it's done with a weapon or a law book, the result's the same. You're lighter, they're richer, and the only difference is they call it progress.